Every time you buy a coffee or order something online, or even just wander through a grocery store, you're interacting with this massive, incredibly complex system. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on that system. All right, let's dive into the fascinating world of retail management.
Just think about it for a second. A product gets made, and then, somehow, it just ends up with you. That somehow? Well, that's everything. It's the critical, often totally invisible link that connects mass production to your personal life. And that link, that's retail.
So here's what we've got lined up. We'll start with the basics, what retail actually is. Then we're going to explore the hidden value it creates, check out all the different forms it takes, see what actually happens behind the counter to make it all work, and wrap up with the big forces that are constantly changing the stores we shop in.
Okay, let's start at the very beginning. What does retail even mean? It's a word we use constantly, but its real definition is the key to understanding this entire industry.
So, here's the formal definition. Retail is the final step, the end of the line. It's that moment when a business sells a product or a service directly to you, the person who's actually going to use it. It's not business to business, it's business to you. Simple as that.
Now, this is really cool. The word itself comes from Old French, retailler, and it literally means to cut a piece off. It's such a perfect description, right? A manufacturer makes thousands of something. A wholesaler buys hundreds, but the retailer is the one who cuts off just one for you. It perfectly captures their role in the whole supply chain.
Retailers do so much more than just sell stuff. They create value and make our lives incredibly convenient in ways we honestly take for granted. Let's break down exactly how they pull that off.
Think about this whole process. First, retailers give you the product in the right form. You can buy one bottle of milk, not a whole tank or truck of it. Then they make it available at the right time. Stores are open when you actually need them. They put it in the right place, like a local shop or a website, not some factory hundreds of miles away. And finally, they give you the right to own it, transferring that possession to you the second you pay.
And the value just keeps on stacking up. They offer this huge assortment of things. I mean, can you imagine having to go to a separate bread factory, then a milk factory, and then an egg farm just to make breakfast? No way. They hold all that inventory, so your pantry doesn't have to look like a warehouse. And they provide other services, from a helpful salesperson to the ability to pay with a credit card. The key takeaway here is they make our lives easy.
All right, so now that we know what retail does, let's look at where it happens. Because the landscape is incredibly diverse, from a tiny little corner shop to a massive global giant. This chart gives us a really great bird's eye view. At a high level, you've got store-based retail, non-store, like online shopping, and service-based, like your bank. We're going to do a quick tour of a few of the most common store-based examples right now. First up, the most common type of retail on the entire planet, the independent retailer. You know, your classic family-owned single store. The big advantage here is that personal touch, and it's pretty easy to get started. The downside? Well, they can't buy in huge quantities, so they often struggle to compete with the big guys when it comes to price.
Next is a model you are definitely familiar with, the franchise. Think McDonald's or Starbucks, where an individual owner buys into a giant, already established brand.
The appeal is obvious, right? You get a proven business model which seriously lowers your risk of failure. But here's the catch. You've got to play by their rules. There's very little room to get creative. And now for the other end of the spectrum, the hypermarket, a massive one-stop shop that combines a supermarket and a department store all under one gigantic roof.
For customers, the appeal is a no-brainer, amazing convenience and lower prices. But the impact on the local community can be huge. They can create some serious traffic jams, and pretty often, they push smaller, local shops right out of business.
So we've covered the what and the where. Now let's get into the how. What does a retailer actually do all day? Believe me, it's a lot more complicated than just standing behind a cash register.
This chart really shows you what a retailer is juggling. That biggest slice, merchandising and buying, that's the art of picking the exact right products they think you'll want to buy. Then you have marketing and the supply chain. Marketing's job is to let you know those products exist, while the supply chain is the insane logistical puzzle of getting them from a factory, maybe halfway across the world, and onto your local shelf. Of course, today, none of that works without technology and e-commerce. And then look at that last slice, risk-bearing. This is so important. The retailer pays for all this stuff up front, betting that you'll eventually come in and buy it. If they bet wrong on a product, they're the ones who lose money. It is a massive balancing act.
Okay, last section, and it's a crucial one. Retail is not static. It is constantly being reshaped by these powerful forces in technology, the economy, and just society itself.
I mean, just look at this comparison. It says everything. Not that long ago, advertising meant a flyer in the newspaper. Today, it's a targeted ad on your social media feed or a push notification on your phone just because you walked past a store. The entire way retailers reach us has been completely, totally revolutionized.
And this revolution isn't just happening on its own. It's being powered by a bunch of key forces hitting all at once. We, the customers, generally have more money to spend, but our tastes are changing faster than ever, often because of what we see on social media. You combine that with the undeniable convenience of online shopping, and you've got a customer base whose expectations have just fundamentally changed. These aren't minor trends. They're powerful currents forcing every retailer to evolve, or they risk getting left behind.
This quote just nails the modern reality. Forget that old image of a simple little shopkeeper. Retail today is a high-tech, data-driven, global powerhouse, and it's absolutely essential to our economy and our daily lives. So the next time you're out shopping, just take a second to look around. That item sitting on the shelf didn't just appear there by magic. It's the end result of a massive, long chain of decisions about buying and logistics and marketing and creating value. Your simple purchase is the final, vital link in that chain. What are you going to notice now that you didn't before?